Ozgun here. Today I have a really special guest for you and my brother XanTz with us, and we are gonna explain you our latest tracks. Yo bro, what's up?
Hey guys, thanks for having me here. Now let's show them how we made our collab. Okay, so first off, how we started the idea was that we found this track from Swedish house Mafia and the Weeknd we wanted to make a future rave cover of. So we started off by finding the a cappella, and from there we used the same chord progression, but we changed the key to semitones up. So I'm gonna play a small portion of the break for you guys. You can hear with the idea of the normal a cappella.
Like a moth to a flame, I'll pull you. He seems like he's good for you, and he makes you.
Yeah, that's how we started, and the chord progression looks like this. It's really dark, and the track has really dark vibes, so that was what we were going for. So the respace, it's the main element in the break, and how the processing is, it's saturation and limiter and an EQ to take away the high end, because you don't want the elements to clash with each other, so therefore you make space for the other elements. And we cut the side below 100 Hz, so we made it mono. And the compressor, it's for the kick in the second break, which I can show later. So that's the bass line. And then we have some atmospheric elements like the synth pad. And another strings. And together they sound like this. And also with the bass. So for the processing of those, it's just mainly taking away the low end, because you want to make space for the respace, and also like make space for each element so they don't fight with each other. And this compressor is also for the technique we used in the second break with the kick, so the kick is gonna punch through better. So this is the main elements of the break, together with a cappella. So after we had these elements, we need some more ear candies and like atmospheric stuff like this going in the background. Just to help the atmosphere. And then after...
Huge job, you know. They are just make a really good relationship with the vocals, and it's instantly add a depth to the break, if it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And for the second part, after 16 bars, we start introducing some drums and claps. This is just to keep the track moving, you know? Because if you don't have this kind of drums, it gets really boring after some time listening. So we're just trying to build the tension up towards the build-up and the drop. And for the drums, it's just some ride and the clap playing offbeat. So apart from this, it's transitional stuff. It's downlifters and uplifters every 8 bar like this. Then more downlifters when you go to the build up. So for the first break, this is mostly it. Okay, so now I'm gonna show the trick with the respace and the other elements when you have a kick playing in the break and you want the kick to punch through. It's gonna sound like this. When you have a kick like this, it's filtered down. So if you want the respace and kick to work well together, we use the compressor on the respace like this. So how you do this is that you go to the kick and you right click on this channel and sidechain to this track, and then you put the compressor on what you wanna sidechain, which is the respace in this case. And you go to this wheel and you select here the kick, and then you just tweak the settings how you want it. And as you can see, every time the kick plays, the respace is gonna duck in the volume like this. So in this way, the kick and bass has a really good relationship together, and they're not clashing with each other. So yeah, this was the first project. So now I'm gonna go over to the other project where we have a more updated version and show you the other stuff we added in the second break. Okay, so this is the more updated version. In here we have pretty much the same elements, just some few additions, and also for the second break we added more drums and more variations. Also this ARP like this. Like this. And it's just playing like the ARP following the chords. And the processing for this plugin I don't have. This was something Ozgun did, but it's basically just a distortion plugin. And then here's a filter. We also have it in the second drop, and just an EQ taking away the low end and the bad frequency here. And then delay, which is just a ping pong delay, and reverb and sidechain, which is automated for the drop. And then what more we have, it's tension strings. This is to make a variation and make the tension build even more. And also introducing the snare roll before the build up. And then also big stabs. Sounds like this. The typical future rave stabs, which is in almost every future rave track.
My favorite sound, you know. I used
Yeah, exactly.
for like 3 more projects of mine.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the processing of this was Camel Crusher for distortion and taking away the low end so it's not interfering with the bass, and then make it more wide to stand out in the stereo spectrum of the other elements. And then also kickstart for separating in the drop. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then there's just some stadium drums, which is, let's see.
You call me good for you.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna cut that out, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And then it's some stadium drums.
Like it's good for you to feel like you.
Just a rhythm to help keep the track moving. And that's pretty much it for the second break and the first break and how the idea came.
Do we have reverb on the cinematic drums?
Does it sound like it?
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we cut the samples, if we don't have reverb, like it like sounds like a gap. But having
Yeah.
reverb can glue, and you can create some pre-made samples.
Okay, so that was most of the stuff for the break and the initial idea. So now I think it's time for Ozgun to explain the build up and drop and the vocal processing.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna start with the vocals. So first of all, I can say that like Victor Perry made an amazing job. I'm glad like XanTz find the Victor Perry. Like he's the perfect vocals for this track. We didn't even auto-tune the vocals. They were like sounding perfect for us. Let me show you the processing of the vocals.
Like a moth to a flame. I'll pull you in, I'll pull you back to.
So the vocals are really clear. Processing, we probably make for all of our tracks, right? All of the vocals. We are having an individual channel for vocals, and we are having a sense for the delay, reverb, and chorus, that kind of effects. And we are routing every vocal related channel to a vocal final channel. So we have the vocal rider. It controls the dynamic of the vocal. And we have the compressor. This is the main compressor we are using for most of the vocals. And there's some little EQ just cutting some lows. We have de-sync. We have the mag EQ. This adds a little bit of high frequencies, a bit clarity to the air to the vocal. And then this is the main coloring we made for it. And we didn't satisfy it, and even we boost to 5K, and they made a huge difference on the vocals. And after that, this was a mistake. We talk about it. We have another mag EQ, another air addition, but we just forgot to disable this one. But it was sound okay. So this proves like there are no rules in the music, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And we have the final compressor, so it glues the vocals. And then maybe I can show you without FX.
Moth to a flame. I'll pull you in, I'll pull you back to what you need initially.
So we like compress it like hell. Those are the FX sounds. So we are using two different reverbs. One is a hole and the other one is a plate. And we are sidechaining it with the vocals. So the vocals are gonna be more clean. And also we have the delay. They should be 100% wet, just a reminder. And with a send, like you can EQ and process the reverb, delay, your FX really freely. That's why we are choosing to use this. We have the chorus plugin. After that, we are just sending all of the vocals to a vocal final bus, a final EQ, some sooty, but it's just taming a little bit of the dynamics like resonating frequencies in the overall vocals. And we have another compressor, so we just want to squeeze the vocals out of it. We don't want any dynamics because we are thinking to make it a real big track, and it's a vocal based track, so we want the vocal to loud all the time. And yeah, there's nothing else on the vocals. We have the dubs in here.
But does he know you call me when he sleeps?
So the dub vocals are hard panned and they have their own channel, pretty much same processing but less volume, and we don't send the dubs to delay. We want to make it clean. We just send them to the reverb channels. That's all. So they are just adding some texture when they come. And let's go to build up and drop.
But does he know you call me when he sleeps? But does he know that it's just that you hear? But does he know that?
We have the break elements in the build up. So you build up is just the place when you are just switching the parts, right? You still need the drums that you have in the break. We can just fade them out like this. And you can do this with all of the elements while you are introducing the new elements. So it's gonna be something like a transition. So we still have the elements of the break, such as like the strings. And such as these drums. And the background stuff that we have, such as like this whole sound. Yeah, after when you have this element, you are just need to fade them out and fade in the new elements. So what are the new elements? And also, yeah, we have the steps. The horn just didn't mention you before. So all the scenes just creating a really big tension. Like we have the respace, we have the strings, we have another high strings. They are just holding the same note over and over. With adding the snare rolls, the tension is going to the top, and in the drop, you are just dropping the tension. This is what a build-up should do. So if we hearing those sounds, maybe I can show you, like this one is slowly fading in. And lastly, we have the serum lead, which makes a really cool automation. We are just making a sustain, which is this button. It's just automating the decay and the release settings. And at the same time, we are just cutting the lead off, and it's creating this FX. So like you can just make the lead longer and just you make it slower again, smaller again in the drop, and it's gonna make a really cool contrast between parts like this.
also punches harder, right? When it comes back to full, it just punches harder.
I like this feeling. Like it reminds me some old school techno tricks. I like to use this trick a lot. Let's go to the drop. I don't know where we find it. Processing wise, yeah, we boost the fundamental notes, just fine tune the kick a bit, and that's all. And for the bass, we have two layers. We have a sub bass like this. We have some small glide, it's adding a texture. Processing wide, we are giving saturation, more saturation, EQ to cut the highs, then more distortion. A bit weird EQ, so we just want to like merge it with the kick. We are making it totally mono and a sidechain. That's all for the sub bass. Like without processing, it sounds like this. It's just the bass, but with the processing, it becomes the sub. Think like it's a bit empty in terms of rhythm, so we try to add the tom bass line. Kickstart bugged, I think. Yeah. There's nothing fancy processing on it. We cut the sub because we are putting it at the same time with the sub, so they shouldn't be conflict. Bass and tom, we have this low end. And let me think. I show you the leads. Maybe I can show you the processing of it. We just wanted to make the leads so much bigger. So we use decapitator for saturating the sound. This is for automation, I think. Some small 5K boost always gives some presence to the sound. And this is our main processing. We have DST, like it's doing nothing, but it's in the mode 2. So it's just saturating and distorting the signal. We have intensity. This is for, I think it's coloring the sound. We have this, boosting the 12K, giving a top end. Crazy EQ to like fit it perfectly to the mix. Even more EQ and even more. And now we have suit, but it's like -7. It's barely doing anything. So the stage 1, this makes the sound more stereo without killing the mono information. And we are using delay and reverb from the patcher. This is just the, everyone have WW reverb preset with some echo boy in it. This chain is making the FX like a sand, not an insert. That's why this sounds more clean. Isotope trash to give it a final touch. And yeah, this is how we achieve this like really big, really wide lead sound. And even we have more processing, right? More EQ. So this one only activates when it's playing at the same time with the vocals. Because the vocals and lead, they are occupying the same frequency. The track spacer is like ducking the vocals when they are playing at the same time. For example, in drop. And other than that, let's talk about the drop background elements, the drums. We don't have anything special, like really generic sounds, but if you have a proper lead and vocal, everything is so easy, you know, to produce. Yeah, that's all. Like whole drums are like 4 channels in here. But with the stabs and the vocals, it sounds really full. Other than that, we have this fill, crowd noise, Some sweep down. And a downlifter. And another small fill. And I think that's all for the drop, right? Yeah, looking all. This is more like a vocal-centered track. That's why you should keep the things really simple. So nothing should fight with the vocals. Oh yeah, we have the break synths, the strings back coming to the second drop. So it's adding, like, making it really big when the track before ends. Oh, we have the hover, Kashmir hover. Yeah, I think we should talk about the second drop automations. Yeah, like the second drop, we changed the media of the leads. We made several notes a bit longer. So the thing with the LFO is something like that. We are creating an LFO in Serum, and we are just moving and connecting this to the oscillators. And when you just hold a note and automate the rate, it sounds like this. We just wanted to go crazy with automations. While we are automating the LFO, it's just making the FX. While we are automating the sustain and LFO, we get this weird FX. And yeah, you can use it on your advantage and create some really creative sounds. This is all for this track. Before we end the video, let's show you the master. It's the generic master that we usually do. Like, we are cutting the sides till 150, make it mono. If the project is clipping, we are removing 6 decibels, so we get some headroom for mastering. This is for automations, like we are making it narrow in the build-up, and we are reducing the volume. We have a glue compressor. We like to use this NLS bus. It's just adding kinda character, color, or maybe kind of saturating the sound. Try not to overuse it. It can cause problems, but if your mix is clean enough, it can add some warmth and saturation and color to the mix. We are just boosting the 4K, so it's the vocal area. We are just making the vocal a bit more presence in the mix. The Gulfos is just an auto EQ. Our values are like 20%, 25%, something like that. And we are just clipping it, like we reduce it 6 decibel in the beginning of the chain, and we are boosting it 6 decibels. So this is all we do for the mastering, and we are just checking it with the span, and like -6, -7 RMS. This is what we are looking for. If we check the drop. Yeah, it's like -6 overly, and this is a really proper master, and it's gonna sound good and loud in most of the systems.
Okay, so we want to give a massive thanks to Glow also for this opportunity to release this track on their label. It was really successful in my opinion, and it was a pleasure to work with you, Ozgun.
We should say our audience, like, we are cooking more tracks with XanTz, so just make sure to tune both of our profiles. And yeah, guys, today that was it. Today we talk about how we made Moth To A Flame cover with my brother XanTz and Victor Perry. It's released on Glow Records. I hope you can apply this to your own productions too. Today that was it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.
Bye.